January 12th, 11:35 a.m.
I heard screaming. Was there an accident? Is everyone okay? My husband went out there. Did you see him? Well, don't just stand there, asshole. We all heard a crash. People's lives are on the line. Say something.
The word vomit combination of questions, comments, and accusations came in like an avalanche the moment I rounded the corner into the store. 16 different people stared from various corners of the massive warehouse. They looked like the war-torn survivors of some modern materialistic hell. One of them held a box of packing peanuts like a weapon. Another was still trying to mop up the collapsed 24-pack of Mountain Dew spraying down on the main aisle. None of them looked at all prepared for what I had to say next. I could not possibly answer them all at once. I couldn't even explain to them if I tried. So, wordlessly, I gestured over my shoulder to the mob to follow as I turned around and headed back towards the door. I pointed to the endless white backdrop behind the massive metal door. "Don't go out there." Somebody laughed from the back. A few people muttered to each other. A particularly aggressive woman, who I later learned to be Marion, pushed by me and tried to unlock the metal gate. "No, you don't know what's out there. I'm not explaining it properly, please." She looked at me with eagle eyes. Marion had a voice like a whip. She looked like the type to use her words like a weapon and make absolutely no apologies for it. She snapped a response back at me like I was another hapless victim at her assured a Fortune 500.
What? What's out there? Some snow and my husband, who could be hurt? Get on my way, idiot. Every minute matters in an accident.
"Ma'am, please, believe me. You don't understand. You cannot go out there right now. Wait for the authorities."
Get out of my way!
I did everything I could to block the exit while the rest of the crowd looked on in stunned silence. Some of them believed me. Some of them told her to stop, but none of them knew to block the other door. I glanced at it for only a moment, but Marion followed my gaze. She must have noticed the row of grocery carts awkwardly blocking the only window of white light in the dark warehouse. I tried to stop her. I tried to catch her. The rest of the group did nothing but yell. Some said let her go. Some said to hold her. In the end, Marion moved the carts and she went outside. A group of people crowded and followed her to the door and waited outside the small glass pane. One woman, a friend named Liz, tried to join Marion outside, but a few men blocked the way. I recognized one of them as Marcus, and thank God momentarily that one sane person was still alive.
No! Block her! We barely got this door closed the first time! God, she can't even walk out there.
"What you reckon? 3 feet? 4?
I can't see anything. She's out of my line of sight. Marion, are you okay?
The group fought at the door for a little while. For a disturbing moment, it looked like Liz might win out. I couldn't allow that to happen again. The friendly woman from the cash register, Tiffany, stood by my side and watched it all unfold. Sensing that I could no longer control the situation, I whispered to her, "They don't know what's out there. No one can go out there." Tiffany judged me with a pair of trusting blue eyes. I tried to appear honest. I tried to appear normal. She didn't know me. She could have assumed I was crazy. Most sane people would. Even still, at that moment, Tiffany put on her best outside voice and screamed at the top of her lungs. The massive tone did not support her tiny frame, and she shook when she did it, but her endeavor probably saved a few lives. The entire group quieted down. The struggle at the door ceased. Marcus wordlessly pushed the lock back into place. Liz lifted her massive hands off his coat and backed off. Tiffany pointed without another word. Everyone in the entire store turned their attention to me. I caught my breath. "Everyone, stop. Please listen. Just listen. As if in perfect response, an odd trilling sound escalated in volume outside. It was quiet at first, barely audible above the wind. It sounded like a bird maybe, or several birds, calling out to mate in spring. I know that sounds absurd in this setting. Suddenly fucking felt that way. Soon the trilling grew more excited and anxious. Its volume grew to an almost unignorable tone. I tried to shout to the survivors, but nobody could hear me. And then something started to scratch. The grating of bone against metal screeched like fingernails against the blackboard. People screamed and tried as they doubled over in pain and held their ears. Liz and Marcus collided into each other and fell on the ground. One simple sound turned the whole room to chaos. Then, out of nowhere, a small hole popped in through the metal gate. For a moment, I was able to see claws outside. But only a moment. "Get away from the door! Everyone get away from the door!" The 15 remaining survivors suddenly stampeded in my direction. Turns out they didn't need much more motivation than that. Nobody should. I turned on my heel and led the group back towards the registers as the chittering grew to an unbearable level. Screams sprinkled into the background. A large object careened against the metal gate and shook it violently as we sprinted past. People shouted to each other over the din as they ran for safety of the store. "Get inside!"
They can't get in? God, I hope they can't get in. What the fuck is that? What is it?
"Get inside! Hide! Hide!" A horrible ripping sound echoed through the hole in the door, like the sensation of flesh being torn away from skin. Something was feeding. I was sure of it. Tiffany fell down by the bread aisle and nearly passed out. Marcus and an older gentleman named Kyle dropped to their knees to help her. I passed by them and tried to get the remaining folks to slow down.
Block the aisle! Quickly, just block the aisle!
I shouted. Jake from Seafood quickly fell in line to help. We grabbed some bicycles and ramen boxes to block off the entrances to our aisle. It was all we had close by. Nobody'd seen animals get inside, but still, I think it made us feel safer to be enclosed. In the end, 15 remaining survivors sat in the barricaded bread aisle, dumbfounded and defeated. The chirping died down after a little while, and then the questions began. 12 p.m.
Do you think Marion died up there?
Maybe she made it to the car. I saw something big in the window. Definitely something big. I saw something too. What was that sound then? A snowdrift? Something stuck against the wall?
Yeah, John. A snowdrift lifted itself up and slammed against the door. It must have made those fucking bird noises whilst it was at it.
A bird? You think? What kind of bird on Jersey Shore? What did you see?
Yeah, you, White Eyes. What the fuck did you see out there?
They all looked at me. Again. The fucking messenger. They looked like birds themselves, hungrily seeking out answers that they had so desperately did not want to believe to be true. Their beady eyes focused on me like a fresh piece of meat to place their blame. I had to play along. I had to keep them away from the worst of the terror as long as possible. I owed them that one final gift of ignorance. Or so I thought. I don't know what's out there. I still don't believe it myself. But it has killed 2 people already. So there's only one thing we can do. Board the doors. Board every single entrance and block it with some boxes or some carts or whatever we can find. Make weapons. Find defensive positions. Nobody goes outside.